What's up, fighters? Fightman64 here, and welcome back to some more F-Zero GX! Last time, we took on the Emerald Cup on Expert difficulty as Deathborn, who's the driver of Darksnyder. We dominated the competition once again and came out on top to place first in the overall standing. But sadly, it was once again without the perfect 500 points. And now, we take on one of the hardest cups of the game that we unlocked in the last episode, Diamond Cup. And along with that, we also unlocked Master difficulty, which we'll do later on, after we complete Diamond Cup on Expert difficulty. So that's the plan we're going to be doing today. So, like always, before we begin, if y'all could do me a huge favor and punch that like button on this video, I would really appreciate it. And also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button today if you're not a subscriber already, because we still have a lot of you watching my videos as a non-subscriber. If you're one of them, do me a huge favor and hit the subscribe button today and let's reach that next goal of 700 subscribers, and hit the notification bell if you enjoy gaming content such as this one. So, Diamond Cup. This is the hardest cup of the game out of all the cups that we've done so far. And it's for a good reason. Because these next set of tracks, they are no pushover. And dying on any part of the track is relatively easy to do. And I mean, they are hard. From here on out, I'm going to start putting my setting up to max speed of 100% because the next set of track, as I said, they are hard as balls. And I mean, they are really hard. Especially hard whenever you play it on Masterclass. But anyway, our first destination takes place at Cosmo Terminal Trident. Cosmo Terminal Trident is one of the hardest track in the game. Now, would I consider this to be the hardest track in an overall standard? Well, not really. But as a falling off the track, well, that would be considered one of the hardest tracks in the game. On that standard. So, as you notice, there are 3 splitting pathways, and all the pathways are narrow for a majority of the race. For that, you can either go to the left or the right, or even towards the middle. Each section has either speed boost, pit stop, or maybe even both. And there are only a couple sections where there are going to be guardrails that will prevent you from falling off. And this is also going to be the point where a patient and steady hand is needed to complete a difficult track like this one. Because if you whiff too much to the left or the right, or don't turn fast enough where you go flying off the track, then you're screwed. Regardless of what happened, and your chance of recovery, it's less than likely to happen. So, if you're not good at keeping a steady and patient hand and just barely turning to the left or right, or even maybe strafing if necessary, then you're gonna be on this track for a long time before you even get out of that track. And I mean, this track is hard. This is also one of the very many tracks where the AI often falls off, especially on higher difficulty. And as you can tell, Don Cheadle is really good at this track. And if you're going to get any competition at all, it's Don Cheadle. And they're the reason why why I say Don Cheadle Fast Shark is like one of the best vehicles in the game, because beating him on Capo Terminal Trident, it is really hard. So whatever you do not whiff too hard, because if you whiff too hard, then you're not completing this track, and you are sure to plummet to your doom. So yeah, that's Capo Terminal Trident. Very hard track. It is going to take quite a long while for you to get used to. So yeah, the only race that I would worry about on this track is Don Genie. But if you don't have Don Genie unlocked yet, then lucky you. And it looked like we have 4 racers that crashed here. That's quite a bit of amount. That's quite a few racers to fall off, honestly. And if you thought Capo Terminal Trident was hard, check out Sand Ocean Literal Shift. This one is also pretty hard to get used to. Because this track takes on a different formula. So, Sand Ocean Lateral Shift. This one likes to pull jerk moves on you. Because what you're going to notice here is the track will cut off either to the left or right. And you have to react fast enough, because if you don't, you're very much crashing into the sand or inside the pyramid. Wherever you may be. And just like the last track, patience and steady hand is needed, and some precision as well. This part you also want to be careful of. And that part right there is also what you want to be careful of, because that section can be relatively easy. The strafing on this track will also come in handy here as well. Do that only if you need to. And just hope to God you do not crash. Also, Giant Sandworm again! He returns to catch his prey! I'm sorry, I just love what happened in the background. I just think it's really cool. Just saying. And that's it. That is Sand Ocean Literal Shift. And a freaking course. I lose to the duel literally at the last second. So already I am knocked out of a perfect ranking yet again. Thanks, duel. Appreciate it. I hate racing against those guys. They're next to being the worst nuisance. Anyway, ranking so far, I remain in first. Don Cheadle remains in second. Deathborn takes over third. Skulls remain in fourth. James McLeod is in fifth. And Mrs. Arrow fell down from third to sixth. And that is your standing so far. And there's only 3 more tracks to go. And oh boy, Oh boy, I sure love this next track because this next track we're doing is Firefield Undulation. And I forgot to change color from the last one, so I'll make up for it here. So anyway, Firefield Undulation. This probably has to be one of my favorite tracks in the game, and it's for good reason. So first off, this is an oval-shaped track, as you can probably notice. But that's not my reason for. But that's nowhere close to the reason for me liking it. In fact, it's something else. So what you're gonna notice here is that we have a wavy pattern that we're looking at here, and this is one of the many stages where the AI crashes as well, quite often. I mean, you can also crash as well if you're not careful, too. Anyway, the thing I like about Firefield Undulation is literally the fact that you can pretty much boost off those wavy section, because boosting off the wavy section, it just really feels satisfying to do. And I love racing on this track a lot. And I have no shame of saying that whatsoever. And from the looks of it so far, looks like almost half the racers have crashed. Minus me crashing Zoda once again. But yeah. This track is really fun, dude. I love this track. It is my favorite. Cause not only do I get to listen to this awesome music that's playing, but what I also get to enjoy is having a huge lead over my opponent without anyone contesting it, which is exactly what happened. Now, in terms of who crashed, oh boy, am I interested to find out, because my rival Don Cheney could just be one of them. Let's see. Did Don Cheney crash, or did he survive? Yep, he was one of the racers that crashed. Oh, the third one that crashed after Zoda and Silver and Nielsen. So that means we're going to have a new rival after this round. And that rival is being Deathborn, who moves up to second. Gold moves up in third. Don Cheney falls to fourth. James Picard remains in fifth. And Phoenix jumps a long way to sixth. I'd say this is a pretty interesting standing we got so far. Two tracks to go, and next up is another Aeropolis stage. This is Aeropolis Dragon Slope. This track can be pretty tricky. This track can be pretty tricky if you're not used to the long jump, because that's what one of the sections really is. So, right after the first section, you see a bunch of consecutive landing panels. They're small track section and large section. And you have to safely land on them without falling too far down. And we have this ice section here as well. That narrow section coming up. Cause I swear the game just loves giving us narrow sections for some reason. For this cup in particular. So yeah. A few racers also do crash on this course as well, just to mention. Now, are landing on the smaller platforms really all that necessary? Well, you can use them if you wish to, but I don't really know how good that would mostly do you in like an overall standpoint. But yeah. Now if this stage really that bad, well, not really, but falling off can be rather easy if you don't get a good safe enough landing. I don't know, that's really the best I could say about this track in particular. But other than that, looks like we're golden. For the most part. It looks like Don Cheney is someone I'm going to have to worry about again. Because he is getting dangerously close. I swear, this guy just loves to keep up with you. In most tracks. But don't worry, there is a track that he's bad at. Although he did crash in the last one. And first place for Bayerek yet again. Looks like we may be getting the same score as we did with Sapphire Cup and Emerald Cup. But we will see by the end of this run. Alright. Next standing. I remain in first. Deathborn remains in second. Don Cheney moves up to third, switching places with the Skull, who's now in fourth. Gomar and Seo up to fifth. Phoenix remains in sixth. And it looks like I have this win locked down the bag, no matter what, on this next stage coming up. And this is one I really despise so much. This one I never have fun with. So, remember how we raced on Phantom Road in the story mode of the final chapter? Well, this is the other Phantom Mode that we're dealing with. Slimline Stills. And as the game speaks for itself, there's going to be a lot of narrow paths here. And this stage is brutal. Probably more brutal than Cosmo Trident in that regard. And also track that's very difficult to win. So, for this track in particular, I may be getting a bad placement here. But we will see and find out together. So it starts off, okay, so it starts off easily at first, but once you get past that section, that is where narrow path starts to form. And splits into two. Just think of this as like a combination of what happened on Cosmo Terminal and on Sand Ocean Lateral Shift in that regard. And as you can see, I am at a bad placement to start off. And I'm going to say it one more time, I hate this track. This track sucks. And this is like one of the many tracks that I almost never get first on. And this is like one of the few of many tracks that I never get first on. I can on novice and standard, but not on expert or master. Because as you can see, I am getting my butt whipped entirely by the AI in this track. And that is part of why I hate it. And that is part of why I hate it with a burning passion. So this may be the one and only track where I do get a bad placement. And if that happens, bear with me. Because like I said, this is a track I was never good with. This is a track I have always sucked at. And I just can't seem to and I just cannot seem to do well no matter how hard I were to try. 17th place. That was not very good, honestly. But this is really the best I can do. I'm sorry for anyone who had high expectation for me to have a higher ranking, but this is a track that I always have struggled with. Even as a kid. As unsurprising as that may seem. Well, on the bright side of things, at least I didn't crash even one time. Or do bad enough where I forfeit to lead one of the AIs in the overall standing, because I had that victory locked down no matter what. But yeah, honestly, between this and the Phantom Road that we did on Chapter 9, I prefer Chapter 9 Phantom Road over Slimline still, because that stage can go to hell. And I mean really. This might be even worse than SNES Rainbow Road now that I think about it. But anyway, enough complaining. Let's look at the overall standing. So, I locked down first place, despite the bad ranking I got in Phantom Road. Second place is the Skull, with 340 points. I got 426. Third place is the duo, Gomar and Sia, with 326 points. Deathborn gets fourth place with 313 points. Phoenix in 5th with 302 points. James McLeod scores 6th place with 274 points. And our lowest scoring point goes to Superhero with 43 points. Ouch! Talk about a bad score. I'm glad not to be in his shoes. That dude must have crashed a lot. But, with that said, let's see the final result. As usual. Really not proud of my run on Phantom Road because, like I said, I hate that track so much. I just can never seem to do well on expert or master difficulty with Phantom Road. And that run that you just saw just shows. But not to worry about that anymore, because we got first place in the overall standing, and position wouldn't matter anyway. Luckily for us.
F-Zero TV. Now I'd like to get up close and personal with the champion. Champion, I'd like to interview you.
Alright. let's see what question we have. Do we have any that we haven't seen? Looks like we do. Let's choose that. What are you most proud of?
What would you consider your pride and joy?
These fangs! They're so sharp, I could eat my racing machine!
Thank you for the And that's all for adrenaline-driven F-Zero TV. That's it, everyone. We'll see you at the next Grand Prix.
That predator instinct of his. So good.
Thanks for playing.
And for our reward, we get these custom parts. And that will conclude for another episode of F-Zero Check. But before I do that, I want to check something first. Be right back. Okay, so there was nothing new to show off here, so I guess that's gonna do it for this episode of F-Zero Check, as I said earlier. So, once again, I want to thank you guys all so much for watching it. And if you enjoyed this episode of F-Zero GX and you'd like to see me take on the Master Class next time for Ruby Cup, don't forget to punch that like button and I'll do that next time. But before I go though, I should say one last thing. From here on out with the Master Cup, these will be non-commentated. And for each racer I finish a cup with, I will get something special by the end of each Grand Prix. As long as it's not a custom machine. That I'm just gonna let you in on that further note. So, expect that for next time. There is actually one more cup that we gotta talk about, but we'll do that much later after we beat Master Mode on each cup for the first time in Master difficulty. So, thank you guys for watching this, and if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to punch that like button. Once again, I am Fightman64. See you all, have a good day. Game on, my friends, and take care. Goodbye everybody, and stay safe. Adios.